Hello, friends. Good evening. Welcome to my channel. Let's be human first. Now, today I have taken a very interesting, greatest book of last few decades. You must have heard the name of this particular book. This is none other than by Dr. Spencer Johnson. This book is basically titled as "Who Moved My Cheese." I think you must have read it. If not, then I think this is a good opportunity for you. Listen to my video and see the what this book actually wants to convey to you. So you need not to now go through the complete book because I have put the summary of this great book into some 15-20 minutes, not more than that. So it is basically a story which talks about an amazing way to deal with the changes in your life, in your work life as well as your professional life. It is not something which is related to cheese or something related to bread. There are certain synonyms which they have actually metaphored these cheese with certain things, and there are certain traits which they have metaphored with the mice, which I will tell you over a period of time. So let me tell you, cheese is basically a metaphor for what we want to have in life, whether it is a job, relationship, money, a big house, freedom, health, recognition, spiritual peace, or even an activity like jogging or golf. It could be your hobby as well. So in this book of Who Moved My Cheese Away is basically nothing but it is a metaphor put by Dr. Spencer in his book, which talks about that this cheese relates to your life. Why I'm focusing and re-emphasizing this factor, because if you don't understand what this cheese is in the beginning itself, probably you may not be able to get through what I'm trying to say. On top of that, if you have time for like 15-20 minutes, then only see this video. Otherwise, it is basically a kind of story. Each and every word of mine is linked to the previous sentence which I might have shared with you. So be with me, have 15-20 minutes kept for your own development. So let me start. So cheese is basically a metaphor now in this book which talks about what do you want to have in your life, whether it is a job, a relationship, money, big house, freedom, good health, recognition, spiritual peace, or even any activity or even any hobby. Okay, so let me tell you, each of us has our own idea of what cheese is. You might be having your own idea what cheese is for you, how you want to live your life, how you want to get into relationship, how much money you want, what is the kind of house you want. Do you want freedom? Do you want good health? Do you want recognition? You want to get into spiritualism? Every one of us, you, me, and everyone, we have an excellent idea about our own cheese, and we pursue it because we believe it makes us happy. Because if my cheese is like having a big house, and if I get the big house, it will make me happy. If I want to have my salary touching to the tune of 7 figures in a month, it will make me happy. So that's my cheese. So what is your cheese? That you will have to decide. Now, if we get it, we often become attached to it. What is the problem? That we always get attached to whatever we have aspired for, whatever we have struggled for in our life. So that is what this story is telling you, that this cheese is basically anything which you want to have in your life. It could be materialistic, it could be anything. Yeah. And we actually become attached to it, and if we lose it, what happens over a period of time? If somebody takes it, it becomes a huge trauma for us. It becomes a huge setback for us. So my dear friends, I believe till now you have understood the complete prelude or curtain raiser for this particular story. Now let me translate this into a story which Dr. Spencer has actually written in his book, with three amazing mice. Now what he is saying, once, very long ago, there lived four little characters. What characters he was talking about? He said, who ran through a maze looking for cheese to nourish them and make them happy. These four characters were actually the mice who used to ran through the maze looking for their lost cheese to nourish them, to make them happy, because they want to have their own individual cheese. So they kept on running in the maze. Okay. Now, out of these four characters, two were mice named Sniff and Scurry. I think, Scurry. Two were named Sniff and Scurry, and the two were little people named Ham and Haw. I'm repeating. Once there was four mice, four little mice. They were always roaming around through the maze, and they were looking for their own cheese. And what do you mean by cheese in our life? It is whatever aspiration we have in life, to nourish them and make them happy. Two mice were Sniff and Scurry, and two were Ham and Haw. These were the four mice. Now, every morning, the mice and the little people dressed in their running gear and headed over to cheese station, that is, suppose it is C, where they found their own kind of cheese. All four people, they were running around, and they used to find out at station C their cheese. So it was a large store of cheese that Ham and Haw eventually moved their home to be closer to it and build a social life around it. So let me put it another way. The Ham and Haw, they moved a very big cheese and made a big social life around it. To make themselves feel more at home, Ham and Haw decorated the wall with saying one red. That wall where they were living, they decorated with a cheese, stating that having cheese makes you happy. That is what they wrote on the wall. Having cheese makes you happy. One morning, Sniff and Scurry, they arrived at cheese station C. Ham and Hen, they have already written something. Another morning, Sniff and Scurry arrived at cheese station C and discovered there was no cheese because it has already been taken by whom? Ham and Haw. Yeah. So they weren't surprised. They were never surprised because they felt that since they had noticed the supply of cheese had been getting smaller every day, they were prepared for the inevitable and knew instinctively what to do. So they were quick enough in search of a new cheese. So that is what was the difference between Sniff and Scurry and Ham and Haw. Yeah. So later that same day, Ham and Haw arrived. What? No cheese. Ham and Haw actually saw that there was no cheese because the earlier cheese they had consumed, but they went to the same place from where they had taken the cheese, big piece of cheese, to their home. They were very surprised, but who was not surprised? Sniff and Scurry. Why? Because they knew every day we are taking some part of the cheese from this maze. So definitely it is going to end someday, and today is that day. That was the understanding with Sniff and Scurry. But Ham and Haw were not prepared. They always expected cheese to remain there. So they, when they saw that it is completely vanished, completely finished, so they said, who moved my cheese? And that is how the name of this book came. They, Ham and Haw, said, who moved my cheese? So it's not fair. They said it's not fair. They yelled. They went home that night hungry and discouraged. They said that nothing doing. Let us see tomorrow if there is a cheese or not. But we will not go for search of the cheese anywhere else. Let us see. Let us go back to the home. But before they left, Haw wrote on the wall. What they wrote: the more important your cheese is to you, the more you want to hold it onto it. What is the second learning? That if suppose your job is more important or money is more important for you, the more you will keep on holding to it. That is the second thing. So what they wrote on the wall: the more important your cheese is to you, the more you want to hold it, which means the more purpose, aspiration you have in your life, the more important you focus on that materialistic thing, you will continue to hold that particular thing. Now next day, Ham and Haw, I'm repeating, Ham and Haw, who always saw things in a negative way, they the next day, Ham and Haw actually left their homes and returned to cheese station C. But situation hadn't changed there. They again went to the same place. Of course, once the cheese is over, how can another cheese will be there? Haw asked, where are Sniff and Scurry? So they thought that Sniff and Scurry must have taken that cheese. So do you think they know something we don't know? Ham scoffed. What would they know? They are just simple mice. They just responded to what happened. We are little people. We are smarter. That is what Ham and Haw said. Haw suggested, Maybe we should stop analyzing the situation so much and just get going and find some news cheese. That Haw suggested. Ki let us go and find. Haw decided to leave cheese station C while Ham was more comfortable staying in the cheeseless station C. Now, see, out of Ham and Haw, Haw thought that nothing doing if there is no chi, we will have to leave. But Ham said, no, I am comfortable here. Sometime some miracle will happen and cheese will come in station C. Haw announced it's maze time and wrote. Now Haw who want to uh, go for the search. Haw announced and he wrote on the wall. He said, if you do not change, you cannot become extinct. You can become extinct, which means if you continue to stick to your cheese, probably you will get extinct in terms of finding it if it is not there. So you do not change, you can become extinct. Meanwhile, Sniff and Scurry, they went further into the maze. Sniff and Scurry, the same two mice who were good, they went to the maze until they found cheese station N. So these two mice, Sniff and Scurry, they found that cheese station N. They found what they had been looking for and a great supply of new cheese. And means new cheese. And it was biggest store of cheese the mice had ever seen. Now, out of the four, Sniff and Scurry found the new cheese, a big cheese supply. Ha, out of the rest two, Ha and who? I'm just asking you, Ha and Hem. So what happened is Ha actually said, decided to leave cheese station C while Hem was more comfortable staying. So Ha, on the other hand, became more anxious and wondered if he really wanted to go out into the maze. So he wrote a saying on the wall ahead of him and started at it for some time. What he wrote, he said, meanwhile, actually, Sniff and Scurry went further into the maze and found the station C. What he wrote, what would you do if you weren't afraid? So that is what he wrote. So Haw now realized that the change probably would not have taken him by surprise if he had been watching what was happening all along, and if he had anticipated change. He stopped for a rest and wrote on the wall once again. What he wrote, smell the cheese often so you know when it is getting old, which means you continue, understanding and getting into the job or whatever you are associated with, continue to do a survey of that and see when it is getting old and when it is getting over. So what he said that smell the cheese often so you know when it is getting old. Ha wondered if Ham had moved on or not, or if he still is paralyzed by his own fear. He is still in where he see. So when Haw remembered the times when he had left his best in the maze, it was when he was moving alone. Then he wrote, movement in a new direction helps you find new cheese, which he says that if you don't find your cheese, if you start moving, probably in the new direction, you will find the new cheese. So as Haw started running down the dark corridor, he began to smile. Haw didn't realize yet, but he was discovering what nourished his soul. He was letting go and trusting what lay ahead of him, even though he did not know exactly what it was. To his surprise, Haw started to enjoy himself more and more, and he stopped to write again on the wall. What he wrote, when you move beyond your fear, you will feel free. So while in his journey, he wrote on another wall that when you move for the search of your, cheese in life, you will have fearless and you will have a very comfortable life. So to make things even better, Haw started to paint a picture in his mind again. He saw himself in great realistic detail, sitting in the middle of a pile of all his favorite cheese from cheddar to pie, and he saw himself eating the many cheese he liked and he enjoyed what he saw. So, the more clearly he saw the image of himself enjoying new cheese, the more real and believable it became. Then again he wrote on the wall, imagine myself enjoying new cheese even before I find it, leads me to it. Now, Haw wondered why he had always thought that a change would lead to something worse. Because we always feel in life that if we change from whatever we are doing, probably that may not work. Now he realized that change could lead to something even better. So change is inevitable, and you ought to change with change. Then he raced through the maze while greater strength and agility until he found bits of new cheese. He entered the cheese station, but it was empty. Someone has already taken that. He stopped and wrote on the wall. What he wrote: "The quicker you let go of old cheese, the sooner you find new cheese." Which means the quicker you let go your old cheese, the faster try to find it, and you will sooner find that new cheese. So Haw made his way back to cheese station C to offer him bits of new cheese, but was turned down. Hem wanted his own cheese back. Haw just shook his head in disappointment, but this does not stop him from finding new cheese. He smiled and he realized. He wrote on the wall, it is safer to search in the maze than remain in the cheeseless station. Because second friend, Hem, remained in the cheeseless station only, but Haw went for finding the cheese in the maze. So Haw realized again that what you are afraid of is never as bad as what you imagine. The fear you let build up in your mind is worse than the situation that actually exists. So he realized it was natural for a change to continually occur, whether you expect it or not. Yeah, the change could surprise you only if you didn't expect it and weren't looking for it. So when he realized he had changed his beliefs, he paused right on the wall. He said, he wrote, "Old beliefs do not lead you to new cheese." That is what he wrote. So Haw now realized that his new beliefs were encouraging him to behave in a new way. He was behaving differently from the way he had when he had kept returning to the same cheeseless station. So it all depends upon what you choose to believe. He wrote on the wall once again. He said, when you see that you can find and enjoy new cheese, you change course, you change your mentality. So Ha just hoped he was heading in the right direction. He thought about the possibility that Hem would read the handwriting on the wall and find his way. He wrote on the wall what he had been thinking about for some time. What he wrote: noticing small changes early will help you adopt to the bigger changes that you are to come. Now, he continued on thorough. Kept keeping his thorough run towards the maze with the greatest strength and speed. He proceeded along a corridor that was new to him, rounded a corner and found new cheese at cheese station where he saw the greatest supply of cheese he had ever seen. Skin, Sniff, and Scurry were already there, so they welcomed him and they said, "Hooray for the change." Haw wrote down a summary of what he had learned on the largest hall of cheese station and smiled as he looked at what he had done. He wrote the handwriting on the wall. 1. Change happens. 2. Anticipate change. 3. Monitor change. 4. Adopt to change quickly. 5. Change. 6. Enjoy change. 7. Be ready to change quickly and actually enjoy it again and again. So move with the cheese and enjoy it. That is the whole essence of this story. So, my dear friend, what is the metaphor which you have got out of this whole story? It says that cheese is basically what we want in life, whether it is a job, relationship, money, big house, freedom, health, or anything which you want in life. Each one of us actually has our own idea of what our cheese is, and we pursue because we believe it makes us happy. So, my dear friends, what is your cheese? You need to understand that, and you need to continue observing it. If it is getting freeze, if it is getting emptied, then you will have to, move away. You will have to accept the change for finding the new cheese in life. So, if we get it, we often become attached to it. So, we need not to attach to the materialistic things because they tend to change. So, if we lose it, then it is like a very huge trauma for us. So that is the whole summary of this, uh, you know, whole story which I have shared with you, and I believe you must have liked it. If yes, please subscribe, like, and follow my channel. Such kind of summaries I will continue to make for all the great books. Thank you very much.